Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in for another video. Today I'm going to be talking about post-grad depression, since it is grad season and a lot of people that I know are graduating in a few days actually from this day. Hopefully, I plan on trying to put this video up before Saturday, which I think the date for Saturday is May 13-ish, somewhere around there. Either way, before Texas Southern graduates. And I know some other schools, they've already graduated last weekend, but this video is still in time. So it's almost been a year since I've graduated with my bachelor's in psych from TSU. Go Tigers. And I just really wanted to come to y'all real quickly. I just got off of work. Like, as you know, I still got my work shirt on, I got my badge on, but I really wanted to make this video because I feel like it's really important. Because a year ago, when I was getting ready for graduation and finishing my last assignments, finishing my last finals, and getting my grad stuff together, my outfit, taking my pictures and all of that, and all of just the hype and the buzz and the excitement about graduating, and everybody who was mentoring me and helping me up until graduation, nobody told me what happens the day after. So today's video is going to be talking about post-grad depression. It is a thing. I did some research on it, and I know that people are starting to take notice on it, but there hasn't been a whole lot of research dedicated to it, but it's definitely an area that people are looking more into. After you graduate, a lot of people like to say that once you graduate high school that you're into the real world. When you graduate college, undergrad, that's when you enter into the real world. And the thing about college is that college puts us in this like comfortable bubble to where we're all around students, we're always around our friends, we're always around support, we're just in this community. But when you graduate and you're thrusted into the real world, you don't have that community anymore. You don't have that easily accessible support that you once had. All of those activities, if you were a busy person in college and you were ripping and running here and there and you always had something to do, it's not like that in the real world. Oh, by the way, if you notice something a little different, I tried crochet hair for the first time, and I just want to say that I am in love. Oh yeah, and if you're not already, go on ahead and look down and you see that button right there glowing. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to me. Don't forget to like this video and comment down below. Guys, check the description box. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you. There's always going to be more information. Anything that I may talk about in this video that I don't want to include all in this video, I'm going to put it in the description box below. So don't forget to check it. Make sure you subscribe, and please share this video. This is so important to talk about. Share it with anybody that you know who is graduating. And I just want to put this out. This is not only for people who are just now graduating. This may also be some revelation for people who have recently graduated. Maybe you graduated in December. Maybe you graduated last May like I did, or you've graduated a couple of years ago, but you never realized that some of the things that you were dealing with, it could have stemmed back from the day after graduation. So please share this video with your loved ones, with your friends, with everybody at your school, because we need to talk about this. We need to talk about post-grad depression before you enter into this next phase of your life. And when you know about it beforehand, you will be able to recognize the signs and hopefully prevent yourself from falling too deep into it. And I just wanted to shout out to my subscribers, my Ultra Life fam. I think right now I have about 48-ish, 49 subscribers, and every single video I'm gonna give you guys a shout out and just thank you guys for supporting me and for following my channel and for watching my videos and for your likes and for your comments and for your love and for everything. I just love you guys. So welcome to the family. I hope you enjoy my content. Be sure to check out the last two videos that I posted. I posted a hair video where I reviewed Shea Moisture products, and I also posted a video of 5 essential keys in starting your relationship off with God. All right, so let's get started and let's go into the topic of post-grad depression. First of all, if you don't know what depression is, let me tell you. So depression is a mental health disorder that is characterized by a persistently depressed mood, loss of interest in activities, and it causes significant impairment in daily life for periods lasting consistently for 2 weeks or more. Or another definition is a common or a serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. It causes feelings of extreme sadness or loss of interest in activities that were once enjoyed. And I want to repeat that it must last for at least a period of 2 weeks. If it doesn't last longer than 2 weeks, weeks, then you might just simply be sad, or whatever the case is that caused the depression, you might be grieved about something. But it has to last for at least 2 weeks consistently. And not only consistently, when I get into the symptoms part, you have to have at least 5 or more of the symptoms to be clinically diagnosed as depressed. Anything under the 5, anything less than 2 weeks is not clinical depression. And also, side note, depression, not only is it a mental disorder and a mental illness, there's also a spirit of depression behind it. But this is a psychologically based video, and we're not going to get into the spiritual aspect of that. I plan on getting into it deeper in another video at another time, but today we're not going to go that deep. So statistics show that 1 in 6 people will experience depression in their lifetime, and on average depression kind of appears between the late teens and the early 20s, early mid 20s. And side note, a lot of different psychological disorders kind of happen in this 20-ish range, because this is the period when we're going through the most life transitions, the most stuff is happening when we're coming out of our teenhood into adulthood. And depending on if you were properly prepared to enter into this adult life, it can be very stressful for some people. And if you haven't developed healthy ways of coping with stress and healthy ways of coping with the different changes in life, then it can lead into you developing some type of psychological disorder. Like, side note, schizophrenia, the average age of onset for that is about 25. This is a time period that we really have to be very mindful of our thoughts and very mindful of what is going on with us, and very mindful on how we're dealing with the difficult transitions and the difficult stresses in life. So what are some of the signs and symptoms? So some of the signs and symptoms, and I'm going to be reading them off of my notes. So anxiety for one, loneliness, confusion, disorganized, feelings that you're out of control, low to motivation, overwhelmed, extreme sadness, loss of interest, changes in appetite, trouble sleeping, loss of energy or fatigue, and thoughts of suicide or death. So now I want to get into share a little piece of my testimony of me dealing with post-grad depression, because I dealt with it and I didn't really realize that I dealt with it and was dealing with it until kind of towards close to when the summer was almost over. So basically, a little bit of background about me in undergrad. In undergrad, I was very active, very involved. I was president of an organization. I was involved in other organizations. I also was in Bible study, and so I was always around friends, and me and my friends, we would hang out on pretty much a daily basis. I would always be surrounded by people, and there would be some days where I wouldn't go back to my apartment till late at night until after I'm done with everything. Leading up to graduation, I knew that I was graduating and I knew I was getting ready to be done with undergrad, but the reality of me actually being done with undergrad really didn't set in until the day after I graduated. Because even at graduation, you're still hyped up, and you're taking all the pictures, and you're in your cap and gown, and you're taking pictures of all your friends, and you're doing your graduation dinner, and if you went out after graduation, you went out, and it's just all fun. But and maybe it might not even be the very next day after graduation that you realize it, because you might still be hanging out with your family and your friends. But that day when after everybody leaves, when the talk of graduation is over, and that first day that you're really settling in, man, I graduated, I'm not in school anymore. And then not only that, some other things that were going on with the job that I had at the time. They were playing games with my schedule, so I basically wasn't working for the first month of summer, and I was just sitting at home every single day. In school, I was so busy with school and everything involving school that all of my hobbies and things that I did outside of class and outside of work all related to school. So when I graduated, that got taken away from me, and it's dang, what do I actually do? Not only did I graduate, the apartment that I was staying in, my lease was coming up in July, so it was that. And then there was so what are you gonna do after this? I was trying to get into grad school at the time. I still, I hadn't received anything back about my applications that I put out to the schools that I applied to. So it was that stress. And then I knew that I needed a new job, because the job that I had, I just needed a new job. And so I was putting in applications for new jobs, and you know how annoying the application process is for a job. They tell you to upload a resume, but then they want you to go and fill in the blank on all the stuff that you can clearly look on the resume to look at. So I was in the middle of trying to find a job, trying to find a place to live, trying to get in school, and then dealing with just the culture shock of now being in the adulting world. I was blessed enough to at least have parents who all through school, they were helping me throughout the process. But now after I've graduated, they were like, you know, all right, you graduated, you grown now, so the help that we was giving you, we gonna peel that back because you're an adult now, you're a woman, so you need to get on it. And I thank them for doing that. But just at the time, it was so much like adulting all happening at once. I was not prepared. Like, my focus at the end of the semester was just on graduating. I was not prepared for the day after graduation. So talks about like, oh, now I'm gonna have to take over this bill and this bill and that bill and this bill, and then I'm gonna have to, and then my apartment is gonna have, I'm gonna have to be able to afford the whole thing and just do that. And I'm like, okay, whoa, wait a minute, this is too much going on at once. And then I needed to find a job, and so the application process, and then trying to get into school. And what I was trying to do is I needed the job first. I needed to know what school I was going to get into so I knew where I was going to live. And then I needed the job so that way I can know how much I'll be able to afford. And then I needed the place to stay because I don't want to be homeless. And so I needed all of those things, and all of those things were important and all happening at the same time. And I'm looking down at a deadline. July, the end of July is my deadline where all of this has to be figured out. And like trying to handle these major life areas at the same time, it just drove me insane. I was so anxious and worried and fearful. A lot of times people are like, oh, I'm so proud of you, you did so well in school. Like, oh, you graduated at the top of your class, like what are you doing after graduation? I know that you're gonna do big things. And you know, people, they'd be speaking life into me and encouraging me, and that was all great. But there's also this other thing that is called the imposter syndrome. It's these feelings like you feel like you're a fake and that you're gonna get found out. I was kind of like feeling like insecure and downplaying myself, like, okay, I know that I graduated, I know that I got this degree now, I know that I even graduated top of my class, but do I really, like, did I really learn something in school? So all those thoughts were going in my mind. And so when everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm proud, oh, what are you doing after school, da da da, and it's just like all these is like, my post-grad depression lasted from after I graduated really until a little bit into fall semester, kind of around I think I finally like gave it somewhere around last semester. I can't remember the exact dates. Luckily, some of the people that I had met in my Bible study who I wasn't like super close with at the end of the summer, like through the summer, we actually became closer. And so I was able to start getting out of my house and going to do things actually. And that was definitely something that helped me get out of it. But I didn't even realize, so this is how I realized that I was even going through something. And I'm so thankful to have my relationship with the Lord, because if it was not my relationship with the Lord and him loving on me, I don't think I couldn't even imagine, like, one, I would not be in this apartment that I'm in now. Two, I would not have this job that I have now. I would not be in the school that I have now. I would not have the friends that I have now. I probably wouldn't even have the camera that I have now and even be sitting in front of you guys and talking right now. So I was trying to handle everything on my own, and there was, when did I have this road? I think it was about July, the closer that it got to my deadline. So I was trying to figure everything out on my own, and God kind of like checked me and was like, the reason why I'm going through all this, while I'm feeling all this, while I'm stressing myself out, while I'm so worried, and why I don't know what to do, is because I'm trying to do my will. I'm trying to do what I want to do instead of asking God what he wants me to do, and instead of instead of trusting God to be the provider that he says that he is. And so when it came to the schools that I applied to, I did not pray over them schools. I did not check with God if these are the schools that he even wanted me to apply on, because if I would have prayed and asked him, you know, for his direction, he would have told me not even to apply to those schools. It would have been a waste of time, money, and effort, and I would have been more at peace because he would have showed me the school that I was supposed to be at, the school that I'm at now. So I didn't pray over it. Like, and I know a lot of times that I'm not the only person guilty. Like, we'll make our own plans and do our own things, but then we'll backtrack and ask God to bless it. No. God only anoints and provides for his ideas, not our ideas, his ideas. So so he gave me that revelation that I was basically trying to do everything on my own, and I basically took control of my own life and took things out of his hands that he was trying to do for me. So when he gave me that revelation, I was like, wow, Lord, like I had to repent. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize that I was over here trying to make my own plan and do my own thing and just asking for your approval instead of asking for your plan and your thing and what you want me to do and where you purposed me to be, where you purposed me to go, the school you wanted me to get into, the job you wanted me to work at, because all of that is very important. Where you work, where you go to school, where you live, all of that is a part of God's plan. God is very detailed. He has a plan for every single area of your life. After when I realized that this is what I was doing, I repented and I was like, all right, Lord, I'm gonna just trust in you. I literally let go of everything. I did not think about where I'm gonna live. I mean, I thought about it, but I stopped creating a plan and stopped like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Like, I threw away my checklist of things that I had to do, and I was like, Lord, I'm gonna trust you with all of that. And when I tell y'all, one by one, God started taking care of every single thing on the list, and it was literally so perfect. And I had so much peace. Like, this was a type of peace that, like, I have never experienced. When I submitted myself to him, submitted my plan to him, and I put my trust in him, his peace just fell upon me like a mantle, and he took care of everything like he said. I can only put, like, when it came to the depression stuff, like, medicine didn't get me through it. Going to any other substances didn't get me through it. God was the only thing that brought me through it. So yeah, guys, so that was my experience with post-grad depression, and it was God, only God, who brought me out of it. Like, I just give all glory and all thanks to him. And I just wanted to share with you guys some of the verses that were really crucial in this time. So Jeremiah 29:11 in the NIV version says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart." And so the parts of this scripture that just really spoke to me was when he said, "For I know the plans that I have for you." Like, God has plans for you. I know that you have your own plans, but God has a specific plan detailed for your life, for my life. This is what I had to tell myself in the mirror, you know, when I was going through this process, that God has a plan. So even if you graduate and you don't know what you're gonna do after graduation, you don't know if you're gonna go to school, you don't know where you're gonna work, you don't know where you're gonna live, you just don't know, and you're just thrusted into this adulting world not knowing. And you know, some people say that you should know what you want to do with your life by the time you graduate, but that's not truth for everybody. Some people will go through school in a major that they really don't even know if they really like, will graduate with a degree in something that they don't really know if they're passionate about. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all that when you do follow along God's path, that it's just gonna be, you know, roses and daisies and all of that. No, you're gonna go through some hardships, but the difference between going in your own path versus going in God's path is that you're gonna have God with you through all of that. Then you will call on me and you come and pray for me and pray to me, and I will listen to you. God listens to you. He listens to you. Everything that you said, everything that you think, everything that you pray for, God hears you. Even if you don't see it instantly, he hears you. You will seek me when you find me, and when you seek me with all of your heart. So when you seek God with all of your heart, you will find him. So if you are like me, well, how I was a year ago, and if you are looking forward to graduation, if the anticipation of graduation and life after graduation is a little scary, or if you've already graduated and life after graduation is kind of scary, and you're kind of in this limbo of like, I don't really know what to do, and I'm just doing something just because I need a job. Like, you're kind of like on autopilot mode. You're not really passionate about what you're doing. Seek God. Seek God, seek his plan, seek his will for your life, and seek his peace. Above all else, seek his peace, because I promise y'all, the peace of God is better than anything in this world. I have other scriptures that definitely helped me through this moment, but for the sake of time, I know that this video is probably already long, but there's a whole lot to talk about. That post-grad depression is not just something easy and simple and quick that you can just shove out a 3-minute video talking on. I could try, but I would be talking very fast and I'll be like blah, 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 blah. So the last little tidbits that I wanted to talk about is people who aren't graduating, family members, cousins, all of that, please check up on your friends who have just graduated. Like, I know that it can be so easy that after you graduate and you don't see that person on an everyday basis, that you kind of eventually drift off, because I know that there's some people that I was, you know, really close to in college, but I kind of drifted away from. Please check on your friends after they graduate. Like, I just want to get into some of the ways that you can tell that some of your friends who have graduated, that if they might be dealing with post-grad depression. So watch for a loss of interest in things that they're normally interested in. Like, say if your friend, they normally like, oh, they're the type of friend wherever you call, you want to do something, go out, they're always like, oh yeah, let's go. But let's say they're starting to get a pattern where every time you ask them to go somewhere, invite them out, they never want to go, they just want to stay at home. Like, watch for that sign. Pay attention to how they talk and the language that they're using, the things that they say. Are they naturally a happy-go-lucky person? And if they start to be more pessimistic, more negative, and be like, oh, I don't know, and just more doubtful, like, pay attention to that. Look for a forced happiness. I know that this is something that, like, I have had for ever. Look for mood swings, difficulty concentrating, because then people might be just so overwhelmed with everything that they have to do. Changes in their appetite, or weight gain or weight loss. That's also a very telltale sign that your friend might be going through something. If your friend is normally a talkative person, normally a lively, outgoing, but if they start to, you know, you notice that they're not as sociable when they go, like, they might go out, but they're just not as sociable and outgoing as they normally are, that can definitely be a sign. And also, the most important, look for signs of increased drug and alcohol use, signs of more riskier sex. If they are just having a whole lot more sex, more than usual, if they're drinking a lot more, if they're smoking a lot more, if they're using all of these other negative coping mechanisms at an increased use than you're normally used to them seeing, that can also be a sign. And so this is a word for the parents, for the family members, for the friends of graduates. Please, I know that you mean well when you ask this question, but please stop asking recent grads, what are you doing after graduation? That question literally brings so much stress and so much anxiety to people who are still trying to figure out what they're gonna do. I promise you, as a recent grad, I will tell you the next phases and what I'm doing in my life. I will be so excited to tell you about the school that I got into, the new job that I got into. Like, if I'm moving somewhere, I will tell you everything about what I'm doing after graduation. So please stop asking us. Stop asking us what we're doing after graduation. Just congratulate us, just love on us, and just let us figure it out. And let us tell you what we plan on doing. Please let us breathe, okay? Let us breathe. Stop asking us that question. Also, don't let society rush you. Don't let society tell you that, give you this timetable, like, oh, you need to have a house by 24, you need to be married by 25, you need to have 2.5 kids by the time you reach 30, you need to be in this far in your career at this age. No, 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 no. If you want to take a break after you graduate undergrad before you go back and get your master's, you can do that. You have your whole, like, you have your whole lifetime to do that. If you want to take a break after graduation, and if you are financially able, I'm jealous of you, to travel all over the world, and you just want to take like a year break and just travel everywhere, do that. Like, do what you feel the Lord is leading you to do, but do what will bring you joy. Do what is coming from your purpose. Like, don't try to fit in with society's timeline and do what society tells you that you need to be doing. Like, oh, you need to immediately go into the workforce, and you just need to work a 9 to 5 and do da-da-da-da-da-da, and you need to work in this area, you need to work in this area. And another thing that I want to get on, this is a little bone that I have to pick, and I'm sure that my liberal arts majors can understand. Do not let anybody downplay your degree. I can't stress that enough. I honestly can't stand where sometimes these STEM majors be like, oh yeah, it's all about STEM, we gonna make no money, y'all ain't gonna make no money, what are you gonna do with an English degree, what are you gonna do with a degree of poetry? Just annoying. Life is more than math, life is more than engineering, life is more than chemical engineering. That's not for everybody, and that's okay. Now granted, you might be able to get out of, like, you might be able to graduate and go straight into a job to where you're making like a huge lump sum of money, and it might take people like me a little bit more longer, but I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't do what I do for the money. I do it because I have a true passion for it. Yeah, you might have these big checks rolling in, but are you at a job that stresses you out every day to where you have to go home and you turn into an alcoholic because you need to look at the end of a bottle because you just need some type of stress relief. I know that our parents' generation and the older generation, that they didn't really have that luxury of doing things that brought them pleasure, doing things that made them happy, and that they had to work. They had to work the hard jobs in order to provide from their family, and I understand all of that. I understand the sentiments, but the reality of it is, it's 2018. We don't live in that era anymore, and we care about mental health, okay? We care about self-care. We care about being happy. We care about having joy, but don't let anybody downplay your degree, because when people lose their minds, when people are depressed, when people, have a psychotic break, they're not going to go to the chemical engineer at that corporate office, or the lawyer, or the businessman. Y'all not going to go to them when you need help, okay? You're going to go to people like me, okay? When you laughed at people with a liberal arts degree, with a psych degree, you're going to go to us. When you're going through a divorce and you want to get marital counseling, you're gonna go to us, okay? And the teachers, like, shout out to all the teachers out there. Like, people be trying to downplay teachers. Teachers are so important to our children, to our future. I'm talking to you. You would not be here if it wasn't for those teachers making that low amount of money that you laugh at. So you better thank your teachers. One thing that I had to like break myself off of is don't live up to anybody else's high expectations for your life. You set your own expectations and your own goals and your own boundaries. Some people may say like, oh yeah, I can see you're gonna go like this high and this far and this far, and you're gonna do this great thing and this great thing. And like, if everybody's like telling you like, oh, how great you're gonna be, and if you're like, I don't feel that way too. I don't really know if I want to do that, but now I feel like I gotta live up to your standards because I don't want to disappoint you. Don't live up to anybody else's high expectations of what you will be doing with your life, okay? It is your path. And not only don't live up to anybody else's high expectations, don't try to copy somebody else's pathway to how they got to where they're going. Now, it's definitely beneficial to have mentors and people that you look up to, and you can definitely learn a lot of wisdom by looking at people's journey and how they got to the positions that they got to, but don't copy their path like step by step, because your life and your purpose is different from somebody else's life and somebody else's purpose. So take some wisdom from what they're doing, but don't copy it word for word. Like, do you, boo? Like, do you? And the last but biggest thing, stop comparing. Stop comparing. That's probably can sum up all of my little tips. Like, just stop comparing. Just stop. Comparison is the devil. Just stop. Like, there is only one you. God created one you for a purpose. He knew you before he formed you in the womb. He didn't allow you and like compare like, oh yeah, like, all right, so Sally is gonna be like Jan, and Jan is gonna be like Roberta, and Roberta is gonna be like Loretta. And no, God knew you personally. You are your own unique individual. Of all the people in the world, of all the people in the existence, nobody could do what you will do like you will do it. So I thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to share this video with everybody that you know is graduating. Congratulations to all the spring 2018 grads. If you're still in if you graduate in December, like, you could still hold on to this video. If you just graduated in December, you can still watch this video and it still applies to you. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and leave your comments. Let me know if you graduated recently and if you've dealt with something like post-grad depression or anything similar. Let me know what you've been through down in the comment section below. Don't forget to check the description box, okay? I'm gonna say it again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please join my family. Help me get to 100 subscribers. Like, if I can, I mean, I know I'm setting like small goals for myself, but still, like, 100 is like, that's a lot for me. So my goal is, if I can have like 100 subscribers by the end of the summer, I would be super happy. Like, people to subscribe, but I'm not like, oh yeah, I need like thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. Like, I'm cool. Like, if God wants to remain me at like small YouTuber level, like, even if whatever I say, whatever content I put out, if it can help even one person, I'm all the more thankful. But don't forget to share it with your friends, share it with your grads. Send this as a little accessory on whatever grad gift that you get. I'm like, oh, you know, here's a gift card, here's Keena's video. Boom. So that's it for this video, guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Oh, don't forget to also follow me on my social media. She's Altered at Instagram and She's Altered at Twitter. I don't have a Snapchat. I only get on Snapchat for the filters. And whenever I use Snapchat for the filters, I end up putting it right on Instagram. So anything else that I might have forgotten from this video, I'm going to put it in the description box. So don't forget to check it. All right. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Let me know, how are y'all feeling like this, you know, this background setup that I got going on? Do you like the all white background or not? Or do you want me to go back to sit on my bed? that. All right, so peace out, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. She's altered.